All bets are off. Can he upset the format here in senior? So we've got Zadia Raikal flying the flag for Malaysia, leading out of the pit lane. Toby Gale, Alex Machado, Conrad Garrow, Jamie Ambrose and Dylan Tan. Two big names then from junior last year, straight up into senior top 5. Conrad Garrow and Jamie Ambrose. Then it's Dylan Tan in P6. Then Dominic Setyevan, who was the youngest senior in the field last year. Now he's in the top 10. Alongside him is the reigning junior champion, Andrea Galimberti. Then it is Kai Burke and Wonapong Yamchan. Stefano Padani from Yukapo, last year's senior champion. Rafael Kamal and Mika Slavat, Seda Kojima and Zach Casagrande. Then Kwon Tak, Ethan Sito, Danish Chen, Ian Marwa, Paco Mika Samayento, James Lee, Leonardo Mori, Andy Barrett, Travis Teo, Kwon Jun, Tian Run and Jenny Bibinet. Ahead of the drivers, and then we were off, but clearly not. As we get ready for the 4th race of the day and the first senior heat of 2026. In round 3 last year, in controversial circumstances, getting the victory for the Malaysian fans here would be a great way to start the season in 2026, but it's never a guarantee in Senior X30. And so with everybody getting themselves into position, we're waiting to see how the drivers are. Conrad Garrow had his hand in the air there. It looks like there was a light bit of contact on the formation lap, and Conrad Garrow wasn't happy about it. Well, the drivers have got to be careful. You don't want to pick up a penalty before the race even starts. And so with everybody now getting themselves into their tramline positions up on the bridge, Raikal, Gale, Machado and Garrow. This is going to be a fascinating duel for position. But amongst the top 4, all of that teenage talent is being shared by the very impressive and ridiculously competitive Andorran sensation, Alex Machado, the very competitive 26-year-old right up at the forefront on the 2nd row, up against drivers 10 years his junior. So let's see what the drivers can do as they run out of the tram lines on the final turn. Raikal versus Gale. Off we go for the first time this year. Garrow splits the middle and tries to get up the inside line as Raikal gets squeezing there on the inside there as Gale dropping back as Machado breaks through. The 26-year-old already in a 2nd place as round the far side. A big battle is brewing just on the edge of the top 10. Everybody wants a piece of the opping, and it's going to be tricky as they work their way forward now. Big dive on the inside from Kai Burke, picks up the place on Wonapong Yamchan. Oh, contact and a spin. 2 cards come off there. Foot is kept in and they both recover. It looks like Melvin Shane was one of them, having to spearhead his Kart Republic back into the action. But there's still more battles and badinage. The 2 that recover at the back of the field, the 245 and the 204. So that is a recovery for the 204 Melvin Shane and the 245 Zachary Boyce. Glued together and spun together. Up over the top of the crest as Raikal leads the way and back into 2nd place. That is Machado. But he's got big pressure. Here comes Toby Gale. He's not going to back down and he slices it on the inside to get into 2nd place. So onto the main straight and through turn 1. Toby Gale picking up the spoils, getting ahead of the Andorran. So Alex Machado back down to 3rd. Then Tan, Garrow, Ambrose, Galimberti, Burke, Setyeban, Padani, Yamchan and Sito. So some good duels on the inside line. That's a lovely slice of the deck from Dylan Tan. The Kart Republic gets into P3 on the inside of Alex Machado. So Machado now dropping back in position. Dylan Tan squirts through into 3rd place and he's already trying to back up the field. Here comes Garrow on the inside of Machado, but he's getting a nudge from behind. Jamie Ambrose fancying his chances as well then. Well, it's definitely rougher and tougher in Senior X30. The new juniors stepping up to senior have definitely learnt about that the hard way. Oh, 3 carts in the wall. 3 carts in the wall of the chicane. It's absolute skittles down there at the chicane. And we've got a couple of carts trying to recover. That's one of the paralins. And Seda Kojima tangled up in it. And that's the 260 involved as well. That, I'm afraid to say, is Paco Mika Sarmiento. So the Philippines youngsters down at the back of the pack and crawling back into the pit lane. Who's that coming down pit road? We've got someone in trouble. It's one of the CRGs. One of the CRGs tucking down pit lane. It's Rafael Kamal. Rafael Kamal retiring. Oh, disappointment big time then from Rafael Kamal as he pulls into the pits and parks the kart. Down in the inside, Machado attacking, trying to get the move on the inside line to get back in on Dylan Tan. But he's not close enough yet. Garrow is trying to find his move on the inside of the Andorran. And so there's battles everywhere you look. Big slide further back in the pack as CRG battles away with Parolin. That is Andy Barrett losing out to Travis Teo in the midfield. Over the top of the crest, that's Dylan Tan in front of Machado, Garrow, Galimberti, Ambrose, Burke and Setiawan. Off the final turn. Still okay for the moment for Raikal. Gale is with him. Then Tan, Machado, Garrow, and the 216 is next up. That is Galimberti. So as they continue to make a good charge of it, Toby Gale versus Zaria Raikal. Not for the first time in Senior X30. And certainly in 2026, this could be the battle for the title between these two. So Zaria Raikal and Toby Gale going to battle. It's a new era for the Gale family in 2026. They've got one still karting, the other has now turned to professional cycling. Austin Gale is actually out racing in Thailand this weekend in a cycling event. So great to see that they're both in action in separate disciplines of sport now. So the battle's still going strong as Raikal leads Gale. Tan, Machado, Garrow, Galimberti and Ambrose. So still the drivers run very tight together, but Raikal has not got a lot of breathing space here from the Pattaya powerhouse, Toby Gale. Final turn, he's a lot closer this time. He'll have a run down the straight, up towards turn one. There could be a bit of slipstream here to gain. A little bit of toe coming from Toby Gale. Is he going to be close enough to slingshot up the inside? He has to think about it, but he's not close enough. So he's going to wait, he's going to pick his moment. Patience, dear boy. You can't just go gung-ho. You've got to time it right. You can't just go for the move. You've got to think about what the consequences of the move will be. What will the next corner be like? What will the corner after that be like? You've got to know that the kart is going to do what you ask of it. Not just in the move, but in the two corners following the move. So a big chance now from Toby Gale. Wanders on behind the bumper of Zaria Raikal. Looking for his chance to squirt up the inside and make another big dive. Good battles everywhere you look on this LYL circuit. Up over the top of the Bray again. Oh, and there's contact further back. Two karts having a moment, both managing to recover. Oh, and a big bounce off the wall. I think there's damage. So a big bounce off the barrier on the far side of the chicane. We're going to see a couple of drivers drop down the order. I think that was a problem there for Zach Casagrande and Andy Burre. And up the inside, that's Toby Gale. Gets the move on the inside of Zaria Raikal and takes the lead. So the Birolak gets ahead of the Parolin. So Toby Gale for Thailand now leads in front of Malaysia's Zaria Raikal. And the two will battle on for more in this Senior X30 opening heat. Still good battles around the course. Raikal hasn't given up on the win. And Alex Machado hasn't given up on the top three as the cloud cover gets a little bit bigger over the circuit. It gets a little darker. Raikal tucks up behind Toby Gale. Green flags, we've got an incident up at turn 4. Hairpin, and it looks like we've got two karts in trouble. So already there's problems. We've already had the retirements for Melvin Shane and Rafael Kamal. I think we've got another retirement potentially. Certainly a kart down at the back of the field recovering, if not a retirement. And so there's already been some big moments down the field. But Toby Gale leads Raikal. Raikal's still on him though. Looks to the inside line for the move. And up the inside comes Machado. Machado's going to get the slingshot for third. Is he there? Yes! Alex Machado then into third place. So Machado's got the overtake on Dylan Tan. Tan's going to have to find a way to respond here because if he's not careful, he's going to lose out to Garrow the Arrow, who picks his moment on the exit of the hairpin, tries to tuck in for the inside line, and it's going to have to wait for the moment. Oh, problems now for the 277. Looks like a lot of damage for the Birolard of Bai Ji Yuk. The RL driver having to go back down as Garrow dives in on the inside of Dylan Tan. Has to wait for the maneuver, and that's backed them both up. Garrow tries again to the inside line under the bridge, and he can't get there. So Gale leads Raikal, then Machado. then Tan, Garrow, Galimberti, and in 7th place, that's Kai Burke, the man from Bundaberg in Queensland. Out of the hairpin and down the main straight. Kai Burke's not alone either. He's got Jamie Ambrose, Dominic Setyevan, and the man from Abu Dhabi, Stefano Badani in the mix. Mika Slabert's going well in front of Putter, Wadapong Yamchan, then Ethan Sito, Ayan Marwa, and Leonardo Mori, with Yuka Po all the way back in 16th place. The reigning champion is having a miserable afternoon so far. So as the leaders come back into sight, Gale versus Raikkow. 3rd place, still going strong for Alex Machado. And the oldest man in the field, 26 years of age, still able to show these whippersnappers a thing or two. On the inside, Galimberti tuning away with Burke and Ambrose. Galimberti having to defend now as Burke really ramps up the wick. Can he come through up the top of the crest? Up over the run, having a very good run so far. It's a very solid effort as Kai Burke has to really pull his sleeves up to go for the move on Galimberti. Now he unlaunches it, and a lovely move from Kai Burke. P6 gets the rod on Galimberti. So down the straight, up to the first corner. Galimberti is going to have to be careful here. He needs to go for the move, but he's got Ambrose and Setyevan bearing down on them. Here goes Dominic Setyevan. Lovely overtake on Ambrose. And Ambrose is going to try and come back at him. He gets the move back. Setyevan's not getting up. Contact. 5-second time penalty and warning flag for the 299. That is Aidan Forbes, I'm afraid to say. So the man from Hong Kong gets the warning flag, and now we know what it's for, thanks to the Digi flag. So thanks to contact, Aidan Forbes has been given a warning flag and a 5-second penalty. But Toby Gale still has the advantage here over Zadie of Raikkow. Then Machado, Tan, Garrow, Galimberti behind Kai Burke, with Ambrose ahead of Setyevan, Badani and Mika Slabert. So as the battles continue to rage, the drivers work their way through on the far side. And as we go across the line, we go into the last lap of the first senior race of the weekend. Ambrose still going well here from Setyevan. Big opportunity coming as Garrow is now in front of Dylan Tan. The fight for 4th position still very strong. But is there going to be a little bit more to do? Can Dylan Tan find his way past the Tony car, who's going defensive despite the daylight between the two men? So we wait to see if Toby Gale is going to be able to hold on here from Raikkow. He checks over his shoulder. Raikkow is still there. He doesn't want to be looking behind him too much. Raikkow may get his chance as they battle away, and Dylan Tan is kicked out wide. Dylan Tan loses ground to Burke and Galimberti. So 2 places lost there on the last lap, sadly, for Dylan Tan. But under the bridge and up over the top of the crest comes Toby Gale and Zadie of Raikkow. And they are still nose to tail. But Gale made the move when he had to. He hasn't pushed the tyres too hard. He gets himself set up nicely for race number 2. Here comes Toby Gale. The checkered flag is in the air. And Toby Gale beats Zadie of Raikkow home. 3rd place for Alex Machado in front of Garrow the Arrow. So Conrad Garrow P4 from Burke, Tan, Galimberti, Ambrose, Setyevan and Stefano Badani. Well, a great start then, and a very tough first race of the day in all 4 classes. But once again, it's a very different battle. A great start to proceedings for so many drivers out there. And what a battle it's going to be in 2026 in Senior X30, as Toby Gale calmly and smoothly gets himself into a position to control the pace from Zadie of Raikkow. And in 3rd place, a solid effort from the Andorran, Alex Machado. Very solid pace throughout. But certainly the Pattaya powerhouse is back in 2026. And Toby Gale only denied the title through absence as far as he was concerned. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. And he is certainly fonder for the title in 2026. What a start from Toby Gale. And the man from Pattaya definitely looking hungry. So it's Toby Gale from Zadie of Raikkow and Alex Machado in P3. A very solid start for Biralat and DRM. Conrad Garrow 4th on his senior debut. Kai Burke in 5th ahead of Dylan Tan, Andrea Galimberti, Jamie Ambrose, Dominic Setiovan, and Stefano Badani. Behind them out of the top 10, Mika Slabbert doing well in 11th in front of Ethan Sito, Wadapong Yamchan, Leonardo Mori, Danish Chen, and all the way back in 16th, the reigning champion, Yu Kapo. 17th from Konotak, from Ayan Marwa, Zach Casagrande, and Travis Teo for DRM. Then it's Andy Barrett from Tianrun Chen, Kwanun Jun, Thomas No, Ryan Gunavordana, James Lee, Seda Kojima, Shamo Schwan, Paco Migos Sarmiento, and Jenny Bibinet. There were some retirements throughout the course of the race, sadly. Aidan Forbes dropping to the tail, and the retirements were Beiji Yuk, Zachary Boyce, Daniel Zhelinkov, Raviel Kamal, and Melvin Shane.